For me, Jonathan Ross, his career is over, right? My bet is that he can't reinvent himself, and that those kinds of things that he did, for instance...
Why does he need to reinvent himself?
Right, I'll tell you why, because he can't say things like this. 2.5 years ago, let me ask you this, he comes back on January the 24th. When he comes back, his first question to his guest that he last had on 2.5 years ago was David Cameron. Tell me, David, do you masturbate thinking about Margaret Thatcher? Now, 2.5 years ago, when that was said, the following was the reaction. The reaction was, everybody knows what Jonathan does, that's his shtick, his audience love it. If he did that on January the 24th, he'd be fired on the spot, you can whistle for your 6 million, and basically be playing a violin on Channel 5, right? And that would be the end of it, okay? So things have changed. Things have changed forever. The reaction now from the BBC to these various things is that they're actually the controller of whichever channel it is that plans to have a swear word. The producer has now got to go to the controller personally and said, look mate, we've got a problem. We've got 2 bollocks in the first quarter, 1 fuck, and just before the 10 o'clock news, there's a C word. I just wonder how you feel about that. And literally, the controller has got to sign off on it, which actually, the controller is normally quite a political, ambitious animal. By the way, he's just going to say, don't let's bother. I mean, what difference is it going to make whether we have 1 bollock or 2? Let's drop it, right? So actually, you're seeing change.
I'd sort of like to say a word for BBC staff, because the BBC seems to have become a culture, an employment culture, when you can't make a mistake. And kind of the next time they have an amnesty at the BBC, I'm going to ring up Amnesty International, because the way it works is they have an amnesty. They say, has anyone made a mistake? Everyone says, oh yeah, I did. You know, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I accidentally put a voting out wrong. And you get fired immediately. And that seems to me is not the way to run any kind of military unit or football club or anything. You know, you should have some understanding of the fact that people are human and employees make mistakes, usually under pressure, often budgetary pressure. I think what was missing, perhaps, from all the recent instances of the BBC was any understanding of that at all. It's a little bit too punitive a regime, and it needs reining back, if you like. You know, and perhaps that's why I disagree with Kelvin. I'm not sure the Daily Mail should always make employment decisions at the BBC.